Now, number 4 in our list of the top 2-minute sort of life-changing tips that you can do in just 2 minutes, and we're going to talk about how you can grow enough turmeric. We're going to talk about turmeric. We're going to talk about embracing turmeric, and we're going to show you that you can grow, several months' supply of turmeric in 2 minutes. I mean, you say, how's that possible? We'll demonstrate it, how easy it is. The easiest thing to ever grow, and once you've got it, you've pretty much got it forever. And we'll teach how easy that is. And we'll teach you some strategies of dense planting that many people are not aware of. We'll teach you that shortly. But we'll talk about turmeric. It's an Indian spice that contains this remarkable anti-inflammatory component called curcumin. You've all heard of it. It's been described as by researchers as the most powerful natural anti-inflammatory ever discovered. And of course, inflammation is the root cause of many, in fact, all degenerative diseases have an inflammation link. So the consumption of anti-inflammatory food and condiments like curcumin or turmeric can be of immense value. So the problem is there's an issue. There's always something to understand and know about this whole nutrition pathway. And the problem with curcumin, although it's this wonderful substance, is that the liver can't really process it very well. In fact, it processes it terribly. It can't even really extract and utilize the curcumin component. And so we need a helping aid for the liver. And what's been discovered is, in fact, it's interesting because it applies to all things, not just increasing the uptake of curcumin from turmeric, but we're talking about black pepper, and we're talking about this wonderful active component in black pepper called piperine. Now, understand that berries are high in antioxidants. All berries are. And the smaller the berry, the higher the antioxidants. And when you dry it, you quadruple that antioxidant value. And when you dry it to a rock-hard little ball called black pepper, it's about a 7 times increase in antioxidants. And there's lots of antioxidants in the little berry that became the peppercorn. And one of those antioxidants is this thing called piperine, and piperine is really well researched to increase the uptake of everything. So when you're in the restaurant and someone comes around, do you want some pepper on that? You say, yes, plenty, thank you. You do say thank you. and so you have the pepper all over everything, and it increases the uptake of everything in that meal, the nutritional uptake of everything. So it's a wonderful thing, but it's just got this powerhouse. It's actually a 2,000%, and there's not one study, there's 3 that I know of, that quantified a 2,000% increased uptake in curcumin when you combined pepper with it. And what's the magic figure? In each of those studies, it involved 9% pepper with the curcumin powder. Now, you're going to use less of that, of course, if it's fresh turmeric, because, of course, it's not concentrated up into a powder, which is, several times more concentrated. But in the powder, 9% is the figure. So we've done that, of course. We're growing on this farm. We've grown a tremendous amount of turmeric. It's one of our main crops, along with ginger and limes and a few other things. And basically, we've taken this organic pepper at 9%, and we've made a product called Curcu-life, which is really, really popular. And basically, can you make it even better than what it is? Yeah, you can, because it's fat soluble. So, this is the idea of perhaps a golden latte, and you put a bit of pepper in that. So you've got the fat, but any kind of fat added to that, like coconut oil, and you put this Curcu-life into the coconut oil, you can make this thing called golden paste, and there's a recipe on the Curcu-life packet on how to do it, and you have a teaspoon of that each day, and now you've got the fat from the coconut oil that further increases the uptake and utilization of the wonderful thing called curcumin. Now let's talk about the benefits of curcumin, because there are so many studies, and they are really, really impressive. There are over 600 published papers on PubMed relative to the substance. So let's look at some of them. Protection from Alzheimer's. Now, why does India, for example, the largest consumer, because it's part of their natural diet, why have they got half the percentages of Alzheimer's that we suffer in Australia? There is a growing number of studies that are saying that the protective factor may well be turmeric, that this powerful antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effect is thought to break down the amyloid plaques that are part and parcel of that disease. And it also increases oxygen supply to the brain, and so it can also help with clogging of the veins. It can be minimised if you've got curcumin via turmeric built into your diet. So that's pretty big protection from 1 in 4 of us succumbing to this disease post 60 now. I mean, it's the Great Plague disease, and it's horrible. My father died of the Great Forgetting, and it was sad. Number 2, it reduces the risk of stroke and coronary heart disease. Again, multiple papers show it can lower cholesterol. It can reduce levels of LDL, the so-called bad cholesterol. Now, the main problem with LDL is that it's more prone to oxidation because it's much smaller. And if you don't have enough antioxidants in your diet, then it can clog and become a pipe clogger and cause problems. But it's not bad. It's not a bad thing. It's got a whole role that LDL plays. It's just that it's much smaller, so it can be oxidized much more easily, and you need to have antioxidants to counter that. And the powerful antioxidant action of curcumin can basically prevent this problem. And that's what the link is to the lower risk of heart attack and stroke. The fact that it can replace some of the quite dangerous anti-inflammatory drugs. It can be just as effective, some of the drugs in some of the studies, but no side effects. So people have shown, recent studies have shown that things like inflammatory bowel disease is particularly effective, that arthritis sufferers can have good relief without the really harsh stomach problems that come with many of the anti-inflammatory drugs. So that's a big thing. Remember, you've got to have the pepper and the fat ideally to get the maximum response. So the milk is the fat if you're having a latte, and we might have one of those tomorrow when we're doing the second stage of this presentation. It helps in blood sugar management. Now, 1 in 3 of us are now considered to be pre-diabetic, and high blood sugar has a huge impact on longevity. In fact, we talk about Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's is referred to as type 3 diabetes because if you've got type 2 diabetes, your likelihood of succumbing to Alzheimer's is much, much higher. So again, if you can help with blood sugar management with this wonderful natural thing called curcumin, that's a pretty cool outcome. It improves digestion and it sponsors weight loss. It stimulates both the gallbladder and it stimulates bile production from the liver, which helps to digest fat. And of course, poor fat digestion is a major player in weight gain. So regular supplementation with turmeric or curcumin with that pepper component, several studies that have shown that it also improves digestion and reduces bloating and gas. So a double hit there. Cancer, surely not, you're thinking. How could it possibly? Well, there are several studies now suggesting, in fact, there's several dozen studies demonstrating that curcumin can reduce the number and size of tumours. It's been specifically shown to exhibit anti-tumour effects in the cases of prostate and colon cancer. And prostate cancer, of course, is bordering on the largest killer of men in the Western world now. It's another plague disease. But there are also some indications in these studies that it can help prevent skin cancer, childhood leukemia, multiple myeloma, and pancreatic cancer, the big one, with 5% survive, and that's all with pancreatic cancer. So if we can avoid getting it by building this into our diet, it can help. It's of value. Now, as I mentioned, you can utilise this Curcu-life product, or you can get something comparable. It's a freeze-dried concentrate from our own turmeric. And there's also this golden paste option, which is on the packet. So that's the wonderful turmeric, and we'll teach you how to plant it and the different techniques on how to plant it. And we'll show you this mass planting concept, this concept of really, really dense planting. And we'll dig up something and you'll see that it's just solid turmeric. It's actually a really good strategy. We'll talk about how, and we'll show you how to do that. Welcome back to the How to Do It series. Very happy to welcome my offsider. You've seen him many times. He's commented on around the world. The people say, how's Carl? When you're in other countries. This is Carl. You've met him before. He's helped on many of these videos along the way. He's made quite a rapid trajectory from starting as my PA and moving into customer service and now running the entire logistics and production side of Nutritech. At what age are you? 22. It's quite an achievement, and he's doing a very, very good job, but he's still managed to find some time to come along to demonstrate a few of the core things that we're going to talk about. And what we're talking about here is we're going to teach you how simple it is as part of this 10 two-minute tips. We're going to talk, but it's also really handy for anyone who's vaguely interested in growing this wonderful crop turmeric, because how we've produced this basically is that we've just taken the seed. We haven't done the normal planting of sort of 18 inches or 12 inches apart. We've just scattered the seed everywhere and raked some soil over it. Originally, you can see this planting behind me. and planted it way, way closer than you ever would. So it's called dense planting. And then we've foliar sprayed, and we haven't really done anywhere near the foliar sprays because I've been overseas teaching and things, and it's had maybe 2 foliar sprays in the whole season, but we could have actually created much larger size rhizomes. But what we've got is a really, really dense planting. And one fascinating thing that we've noticed relative to this idea of throwing in the turmeric really densely planted and then covering it with a mulch covering. Now, all ginger and turmeric growers, of course, will use sawdust. You don't need to. What we're using council mulch, many times we're picking it up for free, or we pay $7 a cube. So it's much cheaper than sawdust. And people say, oh, it's too coarse. It's not too coarse. It works beautifully. And we're wondering whether it's the mulch or whether there's something happening with turmeric, because we're seeing it everywhere where we've planted turmeric. The turmeric appears to be a soil conditioner, because I'm standing on this most ridiculously spongy soil on a plot that was one of the worst plots on this particular farm of the 2 nutrition farms. And it's beautiful topsoil. And we're going to dig and show you. You can see behind how closely planted, how densely planted they are. Some of them are only this far apart. And Carl's going to dig some up, and we're going to use what he digs up as to show how we would utilise the planting and how you can do this in a couple of minutes, create enough within a few square metres, this little area here, enough for at least a year's supply of turmeric. So Carl's pulling it out now. You can see there's significant, it's good size turmeric. I mean, it's, can you break it up and you'll see. I mean, you know, anyone will be happy with turmeric that looks like this. So we can see the size of it. It's beautiful. And there's lots of it. And this is, you can see here how much we've salvaged from a couple of, a couple of square feet. Of course, we'll bang it and release it. So we've got the dark orange, you can see there. And we've got the yellow version.
The spicy one.
Well, we've got some worms in there. So the whole thing's crawling with worms in this area. And the yellow ones tended to be, the chefs seem to like the yellow ones. I'm not quite sure what the reason is for it, but stronger flavour. So we're just preparing, because what we're going to demonstrate is use this very thing that we've dug up. It's too early in the season to be planting, wait till September, and we're talking June here at the moment, but it's just to demonstrate the principle. So we're just preparing ourselves a bit of seed and show how we would do it if it was at the right time. It's not going to hurt planting it now, because it'll just come up in spring. You can see the worms are everywhere. There's no shortage of them. Just preparing some seed here. This one, breaking them up. Okay, so that's our yield. As you can see, there's quite a few kilos from really, what was it, 2 or 3 plants at one little area of dense planting. And we're going to demonstrate now how we would plant if you were going to plant your 2-minute job. And Carl's just going to basically rake up a bunch of soil, rake up a mound of soil at one end, and we're just going to scatter this really closely together. We won't use all of that, that's ridiculous, but we'll scatter it really closely together and we'll just rake back over it. And then we would typically take a little bit of mulch, the free council mulch in our area, and put this much mulch on top of it. And we'll just show you the process. He's just going to rake this up, rake his little mound. So Carl has nicely pulled back. We're on this very spongy black soil that's been created by a combination of the turmeric and I think its soil conditioning capacity and the mulch that we've put on top of it, which has all turned into lovely humus filled with worms. But now we're going to show you how we would plant and how densely we would plant. And we're just going to use some of the material that we harvested. So we'll break it up so that it's about this size. Break it up to a few pieces about there. And we're just going to scatter this in this kind of density. Mixture of the orange and the yellow. See, this is insanely dense compared to normal turmeric planting, and we've got the luxury because we grew the seed. I'll take the rest of it. And that's about how we would do it. So normally you're doing the 25 centimetres, we're doing 5 or 10 centimetres. And that's it. It's a couple of minutes, as we said, maybe a little more, but that'll do us. And then Carl's going to rake back the soil onto that, and it's basically as simple as that. We got ourselves a little butcher bird, found one of the worms. Let's cover that. That's good. So that's all the covering we kind of need. We need perhaps a couple more rakefuls. And we've just got a bit of soil coverage, and then we would cover that with, so that's all we need, just this rough coverage. There's a bit of soil, so it's got soil contact. And now we cover this with about this much council mulch. We've got a whole pile of it back there, and that would be the next step, covering it with mulch. And it's way too early to plant, but it will stay there and it will germinate in spring and off it will go. And you've got yourself a bed of, it will be solid turmeric once it grows. It's like this, it's just all turmeric. And how you can get away with that dense planting is that you foliar spray. And you can see the size and health of this turmeric. This is year on year in the same plot, and the soil just gets better and better. So it really is a different way of producing this wonderful cash crop that's about to be harvested. And it really involves, as I said, for your own sake, this is both commercial potential and for your own growth. But that a couple of square metres there is going to produce a year's supply of turmeric, unless you're one hell of a turmeric eater. So, yeah, it's a great outcome. And thanks Carl, for your effort as always. So that's how you plant a year's supply of turmeric in 2, maybe 5 minutes. So we're just sorting the surplus seed that we're not going to waste. Of course, we're going to take up and sell at the farmers market in Stanthorpe. But in the process, Carl was talking about the difference in flavour between the bright orange and the yellow. And he said the orange ones, you can eat them like a carrot. And he's volunteered to prove that. Oh, my goodness.
Good.
Is it really? Yeah. I see. Who would have thought? That's a new tip for you. Mark, are you going to have a try?
Why not?
Tell me a beautiful Bacillus subtilis on it. Still got a bit of dirt on it. Perfect.
A lot of life. A lot of life included.
Yeah, it's not too hot. Quite edible. It's like a carrot. Who would have thought? I could slice it into a salad in future. Good one.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're here completing the last of the 2-minute tips, the strategies for the time-starved and things that you can do of value. We'd mentioned the concept of the wheatgrass, and what we're about to do here is demonstrate how simply you can make your daily supply or weekly supply, depending on how much of the wheatgrass juice you're about to drink. And basically we're going to take a mixture of potting mix and a really nice compost that we make called carbon that Carl's put together here. And we're going to fill up half of this tray with this mix. And I should really put something on the bottom so it didn't drop through, but this will do. And we can show how simple it is then to we talked about this concept of 2 minutes. Well, we probably wouldn't factor in this stage, but we can say we did, so that's sufficient. And now we're going to take some wheat. We're going to take a couple of handfuls of wheat and just try and open a little bit so we don't spew the rest of it and waste it. I'll pour it into your hands to do that. And try that. And we'll scatter that around and see what sort of, this is going to be quite dense.
You want like just a solid layer of it.
A little bit more then. There's two handfuls is what I usually suggest. That's it. We've got ourselves a pretty dense layer of it there. A bit more there. And then it's just as simple as, spreading it everywhere. It's as simple, now it's just topping it up with maybe an inch covering or half inch, well, let's talk millimetres, 5 mils or whatever, or less. And it's as simple as that. It's literally a 2-minute process. We'll then water that. And we could have treated that seed if we'd chosen something like root and shoot, which gives it even more nutrition. It's got kelp and trace minerals and so forth in it, which wouldn't have been a bad idea. We could even water it in with root and shoot. And in a few days it'll be sprouting. And of course we're growing our wheatgrass. You can even have 2 cuts sometimes. You can have your first cut with just a pair of scissors and snip it off, and you need a special wheatgrass juicer. They're not very expensive online, but if you've looked into Anne Wigmore's work, hers was specific to cancer, but if you just look at the multiple benefits, this weird kind of thing that the plant will never be more dense nutritionally than that in that early stage. And you're taking advantage of that massive enzymes and phytonutrients and so forth, and of course chlorophyll, the blood cleansing and liver cleansing effect of chlorophyll from that wheat that you're going to grow. And it's so simple. All it is just having a memory, a beep on your phone, whatever's required, so that you, every 2 or 3 days or however long the supply lasts, you just remember to come out and do the same thing. You have your bucket full of compost and potting mix, and you just put that in, spray it on top, and you can do that really quick. You just tip the bucket in, spread it out, and literally it's a 2-minute process. That's what the idea of a 2-minute tip. But for your own sake, go onto ChatGPT or Google the benefits of wheatgrass juice, and you'll understand. And one of them, of course, is this concept of alkalizing. It's one of the single most powerful alkalizing tools that we can utilize. Chlorophyll is tremendously alkalizing, and many of us need to alkalize. So that's just one of probably 20 benefits of wheatgrass juice, and it can be part of your wellness strategies to live a happier, healthier, longer life. Thanks.